If you went back 70,000 years ago, you'd find Homo sapiens was, well, a pretty insignificant animal, just kind of doing its thing in a corner of Africa. So how did we, this one particular ape, go from that to conquering the entire planet? The historian Yuval Noah Harari says the answer comes down to one single, unique, and honestly pretty weird human ability. Let's dig in and find out what it is.
Okay, to really get a grip on our secret superpower, we have to start with what sounds like a simple question. What is a company? Seriously, let's take the car maker Peugeot as an example. We're talking about a company with 200,000 employees, making over 1 million cars a year. But what is it, really? What's the actual thing?
Well, the obvious answer is it's the cars. But that can't be right. Think about it. Even if every single Peugeot car on Earth was crushed into a cube and sold for scrap metal, the company itself, Peugeot SA, wouldn't just vanish. It could just get a loan and start making more cars. So, nope, it's not the cars. Okay, so what about all the physical stuff? The factories, the fancy machinery, the showrooms. Or maybe it's the people, the engineers, the salespeople, the executives. Nope, that's not it either. The company could fire every last employee, sell all of its buildings, and it would still exist. It could then just hire new people and build new factories. So what in the world is it? Here's the wild part. The answer is, it's a story. A company like Peugeot is what lawyers call a legal fiction. And that's the perfect name for it, because you can't point to it. It's not a physical thing. It's a figment of our collective imagination, a story that we have all agreed to believe in. It only exists because we all say it does, and because we wrote it down in our law books. And that, right there, that seemingly simple idea, is the key to everything. This ability to create and believe in fictions, in shared stories, is the one thing that truly separates us from every other animal on this planet. It's our superpower. Let's break it down. A monkey can shout, "Careful, a lion." It's talking about something real, something you can see and touch. But only a human can say, "The lion is the guardian spirit of our tribe." We are the only species that can talk about things that don't actually exist in the physical world. Things like gods, nations, money, and rights. That's the unique magic of our language. Harari has a great name for this concept, an imagined reality. Now, it's really important to get this straight. This is not a lie. A lie is when I tell you there's a line by the river, and I know perfectly well there isn't one. An imagined reality is something that everyone believes in. And as long as we all keep believing in it together, that story has real, actual force in the world. So here's where it gets really interesting. How does this power scale up? Well, our ability to weave these super complex stories is what allows us to cooperate in massive numbers. You can't get 1 million chimpanzees to build a pyramid because you can't get them all to believe in the story of the great chimpanzee nation or the holy banana in the sky. But humans, we can do that. In fact, when you stop and think about it, almost every pillar of our modern civilization is an imagined reality. Money? It's just colorful paper and some metal discs until we all agree it has value. Laws? They aren't written in our DNA. Nations are just lines we've drawn on a map, held together by a story of shared identity. And corporations, even the idea of human rights, they are all incredibly powerful stories we tell ourselves. I mean, just look at one of the most powerful stories ever told, the American Declaration of Independence. It says that all men are created equal and have unalienable rights. This idea has literally shaped the modern world. But let's ask a weird question. Are those truths really self-evident if you look at us from a purely biological point of view? From a biological perspective, there's a huge disconnect. Biology doesn't see us as created, it sees us as evolved. And evolution is all about difference, not equality. We aren't endowed by a creator, we're just born. There are no rights floating around in our DNA, only mutable characteristics. Even liberty is an imagined concept. Now, this doesn't mean rights are bad or aren't real. They're incredibly important. It just shows they're a magnificent human invention, a powerful story we've all chosen to live by. This brings us to a really fascinating kind of mind-bending conclusion. Ever since what Harari calls the cognitive revolution, that moment our language got good enough to create fiction, sapiens have been living in two worlds at the same time. On one hand, you've got the objective reality. This is the world of rivers, trees, and lions. It's the physical world that's there whether you believe in it or not. But on the other hand, we have the imagined reality. This is the world of gods, nations, and corporations. It's the world of stories that exist only inside our collective minds. For most of human history, objective reality was definitely the boss. A river could flood your village, and there wasn't much your tribal god could do to stop it. But over thousands of years, the balance of power started to shift. So let me ask you, which one is more powerful today?
The answer is kind of startling, but also completely obvious once you think about it. The imagined reality is now firmly in control. Today, the very survival of objective things, of actual rivers, trees, and lions, depends entirely on the decisions and desires of imagined entities like Google, the United States, or the World Bank.
This incredible, unparalleled power to shape the world, to make our stories more powerful than reality itself, has transformed us from just another animal into the masters of the planet. We have, in a very real way, become gods. But here's the final unsettling twist in the story. Despite having this godlike power, we seem to be as unhappy and discontented as ever. We've mastered our environment, but we are completely unsure of our goals. We've gone from canoes to space shuttles, but we have absolutely no idea where we're actually going. And that leaves us with this final, chilling question from Harari. We are self-made gods, accountable to no one, with only the laws of physics holding us back. We can reshape the planet, and pretty soon we'll be able to reshape ourselves, which means we're left to figure out the most important story of all. What do we actually want to want?